Evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Um, we're mixing it up tonight. We're delighted to have Paul and Em from the Gin To My Tonic. So we've obviously chatted with a few gin makers recently, but these guys bring their fabulous show to Glasgow, among many other places every year.
Liverpool, Manchester, plus all the other events they do.
Yeah, the festivals they do, but the show in Glasgow is absolutely amazing. We've been the last 2 years, and it's just so much fun, and it brings not only gin drinkers but all the gin community together. So yeah, we're really chuffed that they've managed to join us tonight. So on that note, we'll bring them in. Are you there?
Hi,
guys, how you
hi.
doing?
Good to see you.
Good to see you.
Thank you for having us.
That is quite all right. Well, that gin shelves cannot go unnoticed. That is impressive. I know we've seen some photos in the past, but that is looking good.
and that isn't even the whole collection.
No.
So that we share the gins between us. So this is half.
So we have this again in another house.
And we also have a van full of gin as well from where we tour the country with the festivals. So we've actually got 3 places that we can go for gin in lockdown. So we're kind of well prepared for we can. Yeah,
looks like it.
While.
Looks like it. Yeah, you'll be making a lot of people jealous out there. So I can see a few Scottish ones as well. Well played, well played. Do you have what are some of the Scottish ones there behind you?
So we've got obviously the big boys. So we've got Hendrix and Edinburgh, but then we've also got obviously some of our personal favourites. Some of them are not on the shelf actually. So we've got the new Macintosh.
So this was a little beauty that we tried at our show in Glasgow, and that's another thing that we love doing when we're at the shows is going around and having a sample of some of the new creations. So we were chuffed when Jim and Debs brought this along. So this was definitely a purchase of a highlight.
We've got 7 Crofts as well, so another Glasgow show highlight for us. And then we've also got obviously Crafty Distillery, Big R, Red Door, Caroon, Isle of Harris. Beaky, Java, Raven. I mean, there's
loads. I can see that's good. No, Scotland is well represented there. Well done. And what are you drinking? Are you drinking the ones that you picked up there?
Yeah. We are absolutely. So I hadn't actually opened this, so I thought this evening was a perfect opportunity to kind of make a taste of Scotland and Scottish gin. So opening it for the first time.
Yeah, and I've got
Cheers. Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
We're actually drinking Rock Rose tonight. We went up to see them, and they do the garden editions. They just sell them out of the distillery, and that's a blackcurrant gin, so it's lovely actually. So cheers. Good to have you on. Thank you for joining us.
Our pleasure.
Yeah.
I did.
So I guess the first question for tonight is, what inspired you to start the Gin To My Tonic shows?
Gin.
Yeah.
Right answer.
Paul and I have been friends for like over 16 years now. So we kind of worked together previously, but kind of hit it off. Both went our own directions to different things, but always kept in touch. And one of the things that kind of grew with our friendship was a love of gin. So we love trying out gins, drinking at home, but also going to like gin events as well. And we both kind of had careers that complemented us, kind of sort of looking at what we could do. But we actually started the blog because it was January Blues.
Yeah, January Blues.
2017.
Looking for an escape. We love gin, and we thought, you know what, we're just going to start this Instagram blog, take some photos, drink some more gin, and it all started really innocently. We didn't actually expect it to turn into what it has. It was just about kind of drinking gin, trying gin, putting out our perfect serves, and to be honest, we didn't think anybody would care. I mean, we really just did it because we love gin, and I think it just hit a chord at the right time. I think, gin was obviously already booming, but I think people were starting to get overwhelmed with the amount of choices of gins on the market, the amount of different mixes, garnishes, and so I think our blog just kind of hit that right note where actually we were giving some kind of audience the kind of basic key facts about the gins they were drinking, but also how to pair them. And I think, that's something that's kind of, even to this day, I think as well, we get loads of questions about how would you pair this, what would you recommend with that, and I think it's just guiding people through their own personal gin journeys and sharing our own along the way as well.
Yeah, and we really encourage the people, on our social media pages and have them from the start to get involved with us. So, and quite often, we get like really good engagement, and people kind of chat along to us about what they've enjoyed, what they've liked, what maybe they don't like, what they think of what we've done. So it's good fun. We still really enjoy that part of it, but kind of what happened is that we grew quite quickly actually in terms of followers, which took us by surprise. And then we had been to some gin events, and we thought, you know what, like actually as gin lovers and gin consumers, this is not perhaps hitting the right note. Why don't we have a go at doing our own thing? So we started very local where we live and hired the town hall and did a gin tasting for 100 people.
Wow.
And sort of cut our teeth kind of doing smaller tastings while we still worked our full-time jobs. And then we just kind of built the business up really, and then looked for other opportunities.
Yeah, we went from starting from like really small events, like say town halls, doing tastings, to going, let's do something huge and hiring an exhibition centre, and then for a year kind of planning our first kind of show, which would eventually come to Glasgow. But the first stop for us was in Liverpool 6 months before. So it's been a bit of a journey. It's like kind of being in like a gin washing machine and being like spat out at various points. And I think it's been so much fun though as well. We've met so many great people.
Well, and I think one of the things as well that we thought is that everything was so London and South centric, and that actually when you go to like places like Glasgow, Liverpool, like bigger cities, they've got fantastic cultures, bar scenes, restaurant scenes, people, like distillers. So we were just like, you know what, let's look at what we can do outside of that kind of southern area, and we kind of just saw an opportunity, I guess, and then to take our gin journey to other key places in the country.
It's amazing, honestly. I'm not, genuinely. I mean, to think that what you've achieved in the last 3 years. I didn't actually appreciate it was as recent, if you like, as 2017. But to go from doing a blog to doing a town hall to then creating the massive events that you do is just that's fantastic. You should be very proud. But I imagine it doesn't come without its challenges. What are some of the biggest challenges that you face putting on the events that you do?
I think it's just trying to manage expectations. I think so you feel like there's so much pressure from the gin distilleries, obviously, to put on a great event. I mean, you know how hard they work, and you want to make sure that you're getting the right audience in front of them so that they can actually have a great event, not only sampling but also selling and educating. But then it's also the other flip side is managing the consumer experience as well, because you want to make sure you've got great brands there that are going to captivate their kind of attention. They're going to have masterclasses they want to go to, but also it's not too stuffy, because I think that's the thing as well. Like,
it's a big thing
there's an educational stream that goes through the show, which is so important, I think, for those people that want to know more. But equally, you have to respect that not everybody wants to sit in what is kind of a workshop or a masterclass and kind of educated to, especially depending on what their work environment as well. They might just want to have like a drink. So I think it's a show that we try and cater for everybody, no matter what your need is. But I think, trying to balance the consumer or the customer and the distillery kind of experience is the main challenge. But all in all, there's always learning points. But generally speaking, I mean, the Glasgow show that we just did was really successful despite the challenges.
Yeah, no, I would say that you've just, if that's a challenge, you wouldn't know. I mean, you've just hit the nail on the head with, I guess the scale of them and the size of the venues really helps, but you're absolutely right. When I don't think I've ever thought about that before. When you go to a festival, generally you're going with the agenda of the festival, whereas at like your shows, you can pretty much have your own agenda. Like you can go through the map and say, right, well, I'm going to do my own little thing here, and find corners where you can have a drink, or then you can go and meet a distiller, or you can take part in something. So
do a cocktail workshop.
It really is an experience. It's not just a show, And
it's like we have our, like, obviously our bars that we sell gins from, but they're really there as like an overflow kind of capacity. So I know that there's various shows around, but I mean, like, we don't just let our distillers sample and obviously speak to consumers. They can actually serve drinks as well. So if they want to sell them a cocktail or make them a gin and tonic, they can do. So I think that's the thing. It's like having 60 mini bars in an exhibition centre that you can go around and kind of try. There's so many different drinks, so much knowledge, and it's just a great day out. I think if you love gin, especially it's gonna struggle to find something that has that kind of same experience.
And overall, it's about 9 months to a year in the planning of. I mean, and it
We're
is.
already planning 2021.
Yeah.
So.
But and it is. So but it's we absolutely love it. And it's just fantastic to be there and be back every single time.
And I think that comes across in the event now that we've been to this year and last year, that it's an event, like you said, not only is it tailored for gin drinkers, it's also a fantastic consumer experience where consumers of all kinds can go along and meet the brands, meet the distillers, learn about the products, but also test them and try them as well. So yeah, it's fantastic. We've loved both times over.
Absolutely. No, you should be very proud. So.
Yeah. And obviously you recently won the Gin Guide 2020 or 2019 award for your Gin To My Tonic.
Yeah, so just a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So, yeah. God, was that needed in the current times?
Yeah. Lift you out of the kind of lockdown.
Very
rainy kind of storm.
We were over the moon. I think it was just, I think it was like an industry choice as well. And I think, that also meant a lot to us. That kind of, gin distilleries, it kind of put us forward really as contenders for the award. So we were absolutely thrilled.
Yeah, it's always nice to be nominated. Yeah. You don't always think you'll win. So I think to see our name as a winner was a nice moment.
It's a nice
moment. We needed it, so it came at the right time.
No, well done. And I know you've won other awards. I mean, when we saw you up in Glasgow, you were there at the Scottish Gin Awards, but Paul, you were at another awards ceremony which you went on to win. I know that's why you couldn't be there. So you guys have had a lot of highlights over the last sort of 6 months or so. What are some of your personal highlights?
I think Glasgow continues to be a highlight for us. And I think we went into this year with the show really kind of not worried, but I think anxious that we needed to make it just as good, if not better, than the year before, because we set the bar so high. So I think Glasgow for us is a special show, and I think out of all of the events that we do, and don't repeat this, I know we're live on Facebook, but Glasgow is our favourite. I think we travel around the country a lot, and we work with a lot of different distilleries, but I think for us, Glasgow kind of ignites that consumer experience, because there are a lot of Scottish gin distilleries that come to Glasgow that we don't see for a whole 12 months, or maybe have never met before. So I think from an exploratory discovery kind of point of view, we can go around and try gins that we've never seen. And I think, again, that on top of the fact that the show is so huge and we get such a good response, I think is, makes it really special.
And the consumers are like incredibly engaged as well. And even they'll come up to us and kind of chat away to us. They're interested, they're switched on, they kind of want to learn. And I think that's part of Scotland's rich distilling history as well, is that they just kind of have a different mindset, when they're coming to our events. So that's always an absolute joy as well. Yeah. And I think it's just to see new distilleries come on board with us as well. That's always an absolute pleasure, and to watch brands grow as well. So you've seen them from the start of their journey, and we're watching them grow as well. So that's a really great moment.
And one thing that always strikes me is in the 2 years we've been, I mean, despite it being probably quite a fair distance for a lot of the gin community that are maybe based in England to travel, they always make the effort to go to Glasgow, where they could just go say, well, I'm going to go to Manchester or Liverpool or whatever.
It's like a who's who of the...
it's like everyone flies in for the Gin To My Tonic Glasgow.
Yeah, Glasgow has become the jewel in our crown. So I think it's the one that is known to be, they're all special, they're all great, and everyone brings some different kind of distillers from different areas, and there's a local pool, but I think, Glasgow is seen as our jewel in the crown for sure. It's a special event, and I think we get so many great distillers coming up from England, Wales, Northern Ireland, but such a great, obviously Paul from Scotland as well.
And feedback as well from other distillers that aren't from Scotland, is that they also have a fantastic experience. So just, the proof, that, Scotland doesn't just buy Scotland, but they're buying from a whole range of distilleries, which makes it, it just enriches it even further for the consumers and the brands.
We were told when we decided to launch the show in Glasgow, we were told it wouldn't work. So we were told that Scotland only buys Scotland. Yeah. So there's no point bringing any English distilleries up to Scotland. It wouldn't work. And I think, obviously, Scotland is very patriotic. I think there's a love for Scottish distillery, but I think there's a love for distilling. So it's really lovely to see not only consumers engaging with the Scottish brands, but also the English brands, and just celebrating the gin love. So, we can.
Yeah, and I think gin drinkers in general like to try different gins as well. So, perhaps people might go through a period of trying a certain gin from certain Scottish gins, and then they might think, well, let's explore some other gins. And I think what you guys do is bring together an international selection of gins all under one roof that people can try there. And I would imagine there's probably a lot of gins that exhibit at the event that people have maybe never even heard of before. So, great opportunity to discover and explore, and like you said as well, educate yourself a wee bit from the people that are actually making these products.
Yeah, and I think as well, for the city as well, for Glasgow, it kind of puts Glasgow on the map as a bit, it's like a gin destination, and people do come for the weekend and make a weekend of it, and bars and restaurants hopefully also benefit from kind of having lots of gin fans out and about at various points over the weekend.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so obviously you've touched on it's a lot of work and a lot of planning. So what does it actually feel like on the day, to look around, or the 2 days, whatever it might be, to look around and see people having a good time?
3 days.
Well, yes, including the evening, I suppose, on Friday, yeah.
So the opening day is always Paul and I will always be in there first thing, nervous wrecks. Obviously, quite often we get there and there isn't much we can do first thing because it's being built. So the build time is our show builders get in at 5 a.m. in the morning, and we pretty much is a 12-hour build.
Yeah.
So it's intense, and of course there's always those points where somebody's rushing right to the very last minute. So these things happen, but as people turn up, it kind of relax a little bit. But it's when those doors open and you see the people waiting to come in, it's just the best moment. Yeah. And then you wander around and just see people having a good time.
You have this lovely moment when you see the queue and you realise that there's people wanting to come in, and then you're like, oh my god, there's a queue, we got to get in. There's this this lovely feeling of euphoria, then with this sudden feeling of panic straight afterwards.
You better get them all in.
Oh my god.
Yeah. No, I can say firsthand, chatting to you at the events, obviously, naturally, I get a sense of, you guys are proud and you're buzzing and you're just kind of, it's not like you're just observing or delegating. You guys are getting stuck in and hands on, aren't you?
Any problems comes to us, and there's always problems. I'd love to say it's not. I mean, tonic or ice, or, this is the thing. I think there's a certain type of person that can do events.
Yeah.
It's not for everybody. If you are introverted and like your own company and want to be at home, then events are not for you. And I think it's just being able to respond on the ball as well, because something will always go wrong. And I think, even for us, it's a learning curve.
It's just continuous, isn't it? It can be logistics, it can be, an exhibitor, it can be consumers, it can be anything. So, it's just kind of flipping your direction all the time.
I mean, as organised as you can be, you can't allow for traffic or delivery delays or things we've had deliveries of tonic, you're talking, hundreds of pallets of tonic turning up 10 minutes before our doors are about to open for a show. And the customers would never see that, but you're lugging it off lorry, trying to get it into the brand. So I think it's just it's fun.
Yeah.
And what's the feedback been like from the gin producers who attend?
Yeah, it's been really good. I think Glasgow for us was really, really, really positive feedback. I think we went in there knowing that we had a certain level to achieve. I think the benchmark had been set. Everybody had been talking about 2019. Could we do it again in 2020? And the response again has been amazing. I mean, I think it's a testament to the customers rather than to us really that come along, because I think more so than 2019 actually, they want to learn, they want to try. Yes, there's a drinking aspect. Yes, people want to have fun, but they generally do.
They came with gusto, didn't they? They really did. They were like, we are coming. We're going to have a good time. We just.
Can I have my map?
Involved.
People are asking for their map of the event for 4 weeks out, because they want to plan their routes. They want to make sure they're seeing the producers that they're excited about. And I think that translates on the day to not only drink sales, people going around buying cocktails and G&Ts, but also to the bottles that they're taking home, and then the bottles that you see on social media. So it's a lovely, lovely feeling. And I think for a producer, I think I think there's always room for improvement, but I think it's a great platform to be able to share your product with such a wide audience and be celebrated in that way.
And we get returning customers as well. So many people that came in 2019, that came in 2020. And, straight away, it's when are tickets going on sale for 2021? So, we did have to go on sale probably a bit earlier than what we would have done normally, because it was just sort of a continuous, when are you going on sale? When are you going on sale? We had a great time. So, again, it's having those customers, and that kind of loyal following that we're also really grateful for, that come along and enjoy and support the show, but also support distilling and gin.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And I mean, as two people who talk to Scottish gin makers a lot, I mean, definitely, even we felt the buzz after 2019, and everyone we spoke to that had been, whether they'd been to attend, to kind of look at what was going on, or whether they actually were exhibiting, the feedback was just time after time, it was just like fantastic. And some people say, oh damn, I wish I'd taken part, and then maybe turning up year two or whatever. So yeah, absolutely brilliant. And so any other plans to do other events in Scotland other than Glasgow?
Yeah, I mean, we are definitely looking at it. I think there is a hunger for an event like this again somewhere else in Scotland. I think we're exploring it at the moment. I think for us, if we did launch a second one, it would need to not take away from Glasgow. Because what we've created with Glasgow is such a special kind of moment in the yearly calendar now. And I think, that shouldn't be taken away from. No. But equally, there are people that can't make it to Glasgow for various reasons, also the time of year. So, yeah, if we could add a second one in there, I think it's definitely
on the horizon, and definitely something that we're looking at. We have to watch this space.
Maybe COVID-19.
Yeah.
not
when that
goes. Yeah. No, that's very exciting. Oh, we'll watch and anticipate news on that. That sounds exciting.
And obviously there is, you guys are almost what would you say, you're the co-founders, directors, the faces of the business. But obviously you've got a team as well that you work with. So, do you want to let us into a wee bit about your team?
Well, there's not that many of us really, so it always looks like a bigger operation. So we have a lot of kind of freelance staff that come in on the day, bartenders, and they're massively valuable. They help run our bars, etc. But in terms of day-to-day running, there is only 4 of us. So me and Amira. We have Sophie, who is our marketing events lead, and then we have Emma, who is my sister, who has been with us from the very beginning, done the very first event with us back in 2018, but only recently joined us as a full-time member of the team to kind of help us with our e-commerce, but also our kind of relationships with brands and events. So
and up until May last year, it was just Paul and I, but we were kind of
crazy people.
Well, when we were absolutely nuts. So Glasgow 2019, that was us two that delivered that.
Wow, that's amazing! I can't believe that.
We were like broken things by the time the doors opened. But it was an incredible moment. But saying that, we've always had the support of amazing friends and family that have kind of pitched up and got right behind us as soon as we kind of started to carve out this journey. So we're so grateful for them. And you'll see them, they'll be the ones that come back to Glasgow every year and kind of helping us out. So we're lucky to have like amazing people around us that help us to deliver what we do.
I mean, the thing now with the shows is that everybody knows the format, so they know what they would be signing up for. So everybody wants to go to the shows now. They know there is.
No, absolutely.
They go around do their gin tests. So there's a lot of demand now. But we're lucky to have been surrounded by some great people.
We take an extra big empty suitcase. So when we come to Glasgow, so when we fly back, we can fill it with gin.
Just for the gin. I like it.
And I guess why do you think gins became so popular over the sort of, I guess more so over the last 5 or 6 years?
I think it's just the versatility of it as a spirit. I think like if you look back about 20 years ago, it's pretty desolate. I mean, you couldn't have got more boring, if I'm being completely honest. And I think craft, well, not just craft. I mean, I think there's been people like obviously Martin Millers and Hendrix that really kind of got the ball rolling. You've had innovation from mixers. But then, it's great to see nowadays, like the craft movement has really kind of moved it along, I think. And, events as well, people being able to connect with the people that make the brands in person. And I just think there's so many different facets to gin that make it fascinating. And I think just when you think you've got your finger on what gin is and what what you would expect from it, something else comes along and kind of turns the table on it. And I think
it's a journey of gin discovery as well. I think what I really like as well, I mean, it's a similar category, isn't it, to wine? And I think if we both thought back to what we liked sort of 10 to 15 years ago, it's probably not what we like now. And I think gin kind of offers that as well. So people, we get all ages that come to our events, to people that are kind of starting out and maybe want something a lot more fruitier. And then you get the kind of die-hard, true, like traditionalists that kind of like their gin and tonic kind of plain and simple. And, there's just something for everybody. And it just spans kind of all generations, all flavours. That's one of my favourite things I think about gin. When you look around the room and you just see every age kind of enjoying themselves. Where else do you get like an event like that, you know, where everybody kind of gets involved.
Yeah.
The visual appeal as well. I mean, you don't go to a bar very often and think, I want to have that, unless it's a cocktail.
Exactly.
You know, but with the gin and tonic, you'll see somebody walking on and you go, oh, I want one of those.
That looks nice.
You know, they just got some lovely fruit garnish in there, but they just make it a little bit more appealing. So I think it's just ticking the boxes on so many levels, I think.
Absolutely.
It's a pleasure to be part of.
When you think about the reputation that gin had even, you know, probably less than 10 years ago, even 5-6 years ago, of that kind of mother's ruin, and you know, I guess maybe the older generation were the ones drinking gin, that's what people thought, and now it's like, seems to be the drink of choice when it comes to the younger generation. It's quite, they're almost going for that kind of quality over quantity, and they kind of care about what they're putting into their bodies. And you know, I think that kind of craft, you know, gin movement appeals to them as well. So it's quite amazing.
I know myself, even a few years ago, that, you know, if someone had said to me a couple of years from now, you'll be sitting at a bar speaking about gin with your mates, you know, I'd have probably got a punch in the face. You know. But I think attitudes towards gin and alcohol are slowly changing for the better. That people are perhaps, you know, they're more focused on what they are drinking. They're more focused on learning about what, you know, the brands, the people, the botanicals, and you know, obviously a big part of that is what you guys do, but also sort of the on and off trade as well. Where I think that educational aspect is a lot more important now than maybe, you know, what it was 15-20 years ago, where you would go into a shop and it's just like, what gins have you got? Well, I've got these 2 ones here, and I think we all know which ones they probably were, and that was your lot, was it?
Absolutely.
And I think Hendrix played a big part, didn't they, with breaking that mould, and their marketing was just, campaign was, you know, insane, and, you know, talking about having cucumber in your drink, and everyone was like, oh, you know, and they kind of, you know, they really lit the fires, I think, and then so many amazing other brands. And I think as well, it's reignited, you know, it's given life to a lot of distilleries, you know, especially maybe in Scotland, the more traditional kind of whiskey distilleries that have now been able to diversify and make gin, you know, which obviously a much quicker process. And, you know, it's a pleasure to see diversifying kind of both ways, from gin producers then starting to make whiskey and vice versa, whiskey moving into gin. So, you know, it just enriches the experience even more.
Absolutely. And, you know, thinking about, obviously we've talked about where gins sort of come from in a relatively short period of time, where would you like to see the gin category, say, in like 10 years from now?
I'd like to see it booming still. I mean, I'd like to see it continue to thrive. I think, you know, it has had such a boom, but I think it will start to kind of level off in terms of that kind of vast, like, steep sales increase. But I think what I'd like to see happen is maybe lose some of the gimmick. So lose some of the unicorn tears, the pixie tears, the things with like glitter in it, and maybe go back to some of the quality. I think, I think people have jumped on the bandwagon, so if we could shake those off and just focus on the quality, I think that would be what I would like to see.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, you know, obviously there's lots of lovely fruity gins out there, but I think as well the gin drinkers that are coming through that are maybe younger, you know, they will evolve, their palates will change, and that will take them through kind of various gin journeys as well, which will, you know, I'm sure strengthen and lengthen the gin boom.
I think the fruit, like touching on the fruit thing as well, I think it's you know, at the moment it's still seen as kind of a negative, I think, on the category, because obviously gin has been always so associated in a certain way, and I think, you know, at some point it's probably going to need its own classification and like some kind of own like entry level, because I think, you know, there are some good fruit gins out there. I mean, it might not have been what we know like 10, 20 years ago or even longer than that, but actually, you know, there are some fruit gins that have won awards, but I think it's that gimmick thing again that lowers that category. So I think, and also I think you have to like acknowledge market trends, and I think, you know, there are a number of people that will buy fruit gins, but what we find with our events is that, like, and I think you've hinted at that, it is a gateway to other creations within that distillery's range, and it's a pleasure for us to see that, where they've started on something maybe that would be a bit more accessible, like an entry level gin, and they've gone up and they're doing the hardy, robust gin and forward gins, and I think it's giving people options.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things, probably one of the key things for us, is that we've never wanted to kind of be sort of an exclusive in the way that like we communicate or that we run our events. It's really inclusive. You know, we want everybody to get involved, and sometimes you get people saying, I really don't like that, or I don't want it with that, and it's like, it's fine. Do you know what? Just have it how you want to have it. If that's how you enjoy it, then that's absolutely fine.
If you're spending £40 on a bottle of gin, you can serve it
however
you want to. Like, it might not be the recommended serve, but you've got to drink it, isn't it? And it's like, independent palates.
And we try and showcase all sorts of gins, certainly on like our social media pages, and, you know, different ways of serving them, kind of, from the fruity to the traditional to, all sorts. So
And that's because there's a market for it. You know, people, as you say, you know, people will drink all types of gin. So, yes, we appreciate that gin is gin, and it should taste of juniper, and it should be of a certain ABV. And I think we're all agreed that, you know, maybe how some gins are marketed could be a bit better, could be stronger. But when it comes to you know, actual gin, you know, I think there needs to be that variety to just cater to everyone who loves it. So, but
on you go.
No, that's it. That's my piece. But no, that's the last of our questions, guys. I feel like we've had a really good catch up. I hope you've enjoyed chatting with us.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much for having us, and thank you for the support as well. And yeah, it's always a pleasure to catch up with you guys.
Absolutely, it's a shame we don't see you face to face as much as we would like. Just that, as you say, it's like 12 months for the show and we've seen you at the Scottish Gin Awards a couple of times, but no, it's a pleasure. You guys have always, you know, reached out to us and been really supportive, and you know. Yeah, we really appreciate it. But
and you're passionate about what you do as well, which I think always comes across whenever we've met and talked, that at heart you're gin drinkers and you're doing this because you love gin, and you know, you've created a business off the back of it, which, you know, I think should be celebrated and supported, because I think it's a great thing, you know.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Vice versa as well. So,
yeah, we're sharing the gin love. We're being so Cheers. Yeah. No, thank you very much for coming on. And hopefully it won't be too long before we see you again shortly.
Hopefully not. Yeah, we'll keep you posted. And if we find ourselves back in Scotland anytime soon, you know, in the future, we will be back.
Yeah. No, we look forward to 2021 already. So, yes.
We're going to need it.
Yeah, we're going to need it.
Big party.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, thanks, guys. Good night. We'll take care. We'll see you soon.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Okay, thanks everyone. Looks like I've enjoyed that gin and tonic a bit too much.
I think it's these lights. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, excuses.
It's like Wembley in here.
Yeah, it's the lighting. It's the lighting. But no, that was really lovely. Those guys are just such nice people, and yeah, we recommend that you get yourself to Glasgow for 2021. So fantastic show, and yeah, really nice catching up with them.
Yeah, we've got Louis from Highland Liquor Company joining us on Friday for a chat. Monday following, I think we've got James Porteous from Electric Spirit Company.
Yeah.
And then the Wednesday after that, we have got David Hughes from
the Gin School Scotland.
Yep.
Yeah.
So hopefully you're enjoying the videos anyway. We're really enjoying being able to talk to other people in the gin community, gin makers, bloggers, and people like Em and Paul. So hopefully you're managing to get something off of watching the videos. But thanks again for all your support, everybody. You all take care. Drink responsibly as always, and we'll see you soon. Cheers.
Cheers.
See ya.
Good night.